Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, I almost forgot to make a video tonight. I actually came home, took a nap, and then woke up and realized, I gotta make a video today. I kind of wanted to talk about this a while ago. I haven't talked about it so much because it's a college basketball player, but I think it's something we see time and time again, and I wanted to talk about it, and that is Bronny James. In case you guys don't know, Bronny James has essentially fallen off the 2024 NBA draft boards. Now most people are projecting him as a 2025 second round pick. ESPN actually has him at 39th. And I wanted to talk about this because LeBron James has done a lot of hyping his son up. Now, understand I'm not going to go too crazy on Bronny James in this video because, to me it's actually just amazing that he's even playing basketball this year. After, going into cardiac arrest, I think during a practice at USC, the idea that he's even able to play basketball this year is astonishing to me. However, the problem is him playing has not resulted in anything that is worth calling home about. He's playing limited minutes because of the cardiac arrest situation. And if you look at his stats, he's played 15 games, 25 games. He's averaging about 19 and a half minutes a game, but he's shooting 36% from the field, 26% from three, 67% from the free throw line. He's averaging about 3 rebounds a game, 2 assists, about 1 steal, 0.8. And about 5 points per game. Now, here's the thing, right? It's easy to sit here and blame Bronny, right? It's easy to sit here and just say, oh, he fucking sucks. He's never going to make it to the NBA, yada, yada, yada. And that's not the approach I want to take because I'm just going to be honest. I think Bronny needs to spend another year in college. That's just my opinion. However, LeBron James has kind of reminded me of LeVar Ball in this situation, with the amount of hyping up his son that he's been doing, just during the regular season, during the off season, stuff like that. There was this really awkward interview with LeBron James and his wife where the wife just wants Bronny to be happy and LeBron wants his son to go to the NBA. LeBron almost desperately wants to play with Bronny James. He wants to play with his son either on the same team or against him. Ideally on the same team to have the Ken Griffey Jr. moment in the NBA. Because apparently that's never been done. But the thing is, right, a lot of people talk about pressure, and it's weird because LeBron James came out after, rumors started circulating that, reports started going out that his son is just not as good as people think. And, he's like, oh, can people stop and just let the kid play basketball, let him enjoy his life. But the thing is, you, LeBron James, as a father, have not let your son do that since he was in fucking middle school. You know what I'm saying? That's what I just simply don't understand about this. It's when, fathers do this all the time. When other people get on their kids, it's a problem. But when they get on their kids and do the same fucking thing, suddenly it's no longer a problem. And I feel like that's, being somebody who was raised that way, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but my dad growing up always expected us to be good at sports just because he was, you know what I'm saying? Granted, my dad never came to any of my fucking games, but he went to all my brother's games because we went to different schools, and my brother's school was my brother, just for comparison, okay? My brother's very good at basketball, better than me at it. He played at a Class D school, okay? I played at a Class A or Class B school when I was in high school. Actually, it was a Class A school. It wasn't a double A school, but it was a Class A school. My dad went to my brother's games way more than mine because my brother's school was in my dad's hometown, whereas mine was 35 minutes away, and my dad simply didn't get off of work, in time to actually go to any of my games. But the thing is, still, while growing up, my dad expected us to be good at sports. my dad was a very good shooter, so in hence he wanted us both to be very good shooters, or at least be very good at basketball. And we both are. We're both very good at basketball. But it's just the idea, like, pressure from your parents is a lot different than pressure from other people, like, and I feel like that's a thing that doesn't get brought up enough with sports, just athletes as a whole, athletes that are the sons of guys that were really, really great, right? Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Dominique Wilkins, now LeBron, Scottie Pippen, like, all these guys have children that have played in the NBA at some point and just weren't as good as their dads. I mean, the list goes on and on. Kenyon Martin's son is currently in the NBA and is not as good as his father was, right? Granted, there's still, development going on there, but it's just the idea, like, it almost never happens that your children are as good as you were, especially if you were like a bona fide star or superstar player in the NBA, or really in any sport for that matter. It very rarely ever happens that your kids are going to be better than you were. Like, especially when you're somebody on the level of a Patrick Ewing, a LeBron James, a Dominique Wilkins, right? Like, a Michael Jordan. It's simply like at that point, right? Like, they were so good at what they did that very few people will ever even come close to it. Like, only 1% of human beings, I think, even make it into the fucking NBA. Then when you consider the fact that LeBron James is in the top 2 for, like, greatest players of all time, like, the odds of Bronny being better than LeBron are, like, probably, I don't know, worse than hitting the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if your dad is LeBron James, like, there's nothing that guarantees that you're gonna be as good as your father or better than your father, or, like there's no guarantee there. And I feel like when you're someone in Bronny's position, where it's like, LeBron's applying pressure every fucking day, like, get in the fucking gym, eat right, we got training in the morning, okay, we go home for lunch. Like, I guarantee you in the offseason, Bronny works out with LeBron every fucking summer. I guarantee you that LeBron James has Bronny getting up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, hitting the gym, right, hitting the weights. They're on a meal plan. They go to shoot around. They go to training or drills. Then maybe they go eat lunch or something. Then they come back and do another hour or 2 hours of something, and then they go home for the night, and then they do it all again in the offseason. I would guarantee you LeBron is doing that because Bronny does want to play in the NBA, and obviously there's like nobody better to train you for the NBA than a guy like LeBron James. But the thing is, like, like I said, expectation from outside pressures compared to your own family is completely fucking different. You don't give a fuck what other people think about you for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're bad at basketball, you don't really give a fuck what Joe Schmo thinks, right? But if you're bad at basketball and your fucking father lives with you or your mother lives with you and they're like, you had a bad game tonight, this is my expectation every fucking day of your life. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, sometimes I think parents can put more pressure on their kids because they're with them all the time. Like, you literally gave birth to this person. I think parents can put a whole lot more pressure on their kids than the media ever could. Granted, Bronny James doesn't have anywhere near as much media or outside pressure as LeBron did when he came up, or even Amani Bates or somebody like that, right? Like, I don't think it's that crazy, but people have been saying things like, well, Bronny James is like a Drew Holiday level player. And honestly, I just think that Bronny James is one of those players that, if the NBA has taught us anything, if you had some type of clout in high school, they're going to give you a shot, right? Like, that's the one thing that we've learned is, like, especially with a guy like Amani Bates, if you had any type of clout in high school, you're going to get at the very least a shot in the NBA, unless you're somebody like Julian Newman or like Jordan McCabe, who seems like he just flat out gave up on joining the NBA, even though Jordan McCabe was a player that I was like really high on. I thought he was a great point guard, but it's just the idea. Bronny James is in a very tough situation because of who his father is, what he got named. Bronny James's real name is LeBron James Jr. I don't know how many people know that, but it's just the idea, like, when you set your son up for that, I'm a little shocked that, like, LeBron James didn't learn from Michael Jordan's son, Michael Jordan Jr. That, like, you know, when you put that type of pressure on your kids, it normally doesn't, like, go the way you expect. And I kind of feel like LeBron did that on purpose to say, like, hey, I did another thing that Michael Jordan couldn't do. But it's just the idea, you know what? Honestly, if Bronny James never makes the NBA, I think LeBron will be way more disappointed about it than fans ever will be. And as much as I'd like to see him in the NBA, it's like he's got a heart condition, and it's like, you know, even that, like, that alone is enough to scare teams away from never drafting him. You know, nobody wants to, like, God forbid this ever happens, but nobody wants to draft a player that has the possibility of just collapsing on the fucking floor one night. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously they came out and said everything is, like, you know, everything is normal. He can continue playing basketball, yada, yada, yada. But still, the idea that it happened, right? Even if he is all clear, the idea that it happened puts, you know, he's got a history of it on his resume. So, you know, obviously, you know, I don't want that to be like the sole reason he doesn't get in the NBA, because it's not. He hasn't played that great. But it's just the idea, like, there's a lot of varying factors in this that I look at, and I'm just like, you know, is it really fair that LeBron has these types of expectations for Bronny with everything he went through in this past offseason? You know, is the pressure getting to Bronny James that, you know, like, suddenly he's in college and, you know, he realizes how real this shit is? I honestly, and this is my opinion, I think if Bronny James stayed in college another year, it wouldn't be a big deal. I think LeBron James is playing at a high enough level where if Bronny James played another year of college, I don't think it would ruin his draft stock. Honestly, at this point, I mean, they have him going in the 2025 NBA draft at pick 39. He probably should spend another year in college. Like, even if he doesn't, somebody will sign him as an undrafted free agent just for the shot to sign LeBron James. And I also think that's not fair to him as well. You know, everybody keeps saying this, and I see it all the time in the comment sections. It's like, well, even if he sucks, you know, if you get Bronny, you get LeBron in free agency. And that's very true. But I also think that's very unfair to Bronny. You know, like, imagine getting signed to a basketball team just so teams can take your fucking father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a feeling that would be almost like damaging to the kid's ego. You know what I'm saying? Or his confidence. You know, and you don't want that. But the thing is, like, it's gonna happen. You know, like, if it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen the following year, where it's like, even if he's picked in the fucking 50s, someone's gonna pick him just for the chance to get LeBron James. You know, no matter what team it is. If it's a team that's in, like, for all I know, the fucking Atlanta Hawks could pick Bronny James at pick 59 next year. And if it means that LeBron James will go play with Trae Young in Atlanta, they will pick him for that reason. You know, like, second round picks are usually not guys that even pan out in the NBA. So I feel like that's kind of unfair to him, and I really hope teams don't do that to him, but it's the NBA, anything is possible. But I feel like that'd be kind of fucked up. And that's the other thing I don't like about this as well, is LeBron James has put so much pressure on Bronny James that even if he gets drafted, like, who's to determine he's getting drafted for the right reasons? You know, how do we know he's not just getting drafted because they want LeBron James to play a season or two for them and that's it? You know, so, and just to give them a shot at maybe making the playoffs or a deep run in the playoffs, or, you know, to make it so they can maybe, you know, make an NBA Finals run. Like, I just think that's entirely fucked up. You know, like, I know for me, it's like, if I'm, you know, a young gun and I'm coming up and it's like I'm going to be playing in the same league as my father, and I know that, like, I haven't played well, and somebody picks me anyway just so they can get the chance to sign my father, like, that would to me, like, that would be fucked up. Like, I wouldn't even want to play for them at that point. It's like, at that point, you know, you're only playing for a team that drafted you. You're only playing for a team because they wanted your dad. You know, they're not even, like, they're a team that doesn't even fucking want you. They just picked you so that way they could have a shot at signing your dad in free agency. And I think this whole thing was kind of fucked up. Like, I feel like LeBron should have just never said anything. Like, I understand that he wants to play with his son, and that would be ideal, but the idea that it's been so publicized by not only LeBron James, but the media, sports media itself, I just kind of think to myself, I'm like, even if a team picks Bronny James, they're gonna be picking him for the wrong reasons. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm just shocked that he's playing basketball this year because I really didn't think he was going to after the cardiac arrest thing that happened in the offseason, but I just think Bronny James is in a really, really fucked up situation, you know, and it doesn't help that he's not playing well, you know, like, it doesn't help that, like, he's not playing well at USC, and at this point, it seems like even if he does get drafted, it's going to be because they want to sign his father. You know, I hope that's not the case. I hope he stays in college another year. I hope he doesn't declare for the NBA draft. Like, I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but Bronny James is obviously a college basketball player that needs to spend another year in college, you know, just adjust to the game. Like, he's one of those guys that should not be a one and done, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know which way the Legos are going to fall, but, you know, I just think it would be a dumb idea, and I feel like in a way it would like really, really damage his confidence. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.